What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm making this video, and this video is about that question I proposed in a previous video titled, Should I do shadowing in Spanish? I'm making this video about that topic because I finally have an answer. So in that video, I was trying to answer the question, is shadowing, is parroting, is anything like this, these types of mimicking methodologies, are they acceptable under ALG? Are they acceptable under the DS implementation of ALG? Because I couldn't really find any information on it, and yet I believe, shadowing would be of great benefit to me in helping me produce this language. But I want to stay within the confines of my experiment. So I looked into ALG, and David Long, who basically ran, the ALG program in Thailand for a very, very long time, he saw shadowing as like, why would you do that? It seems like a waste of time. So I ended up emailing Pablo, and that was actually because you guys recommended I do it. And I didn't get a response, and I didn't expect much of a response by, my 1000 update, because, dude's running a fucking massive business. He's got time to respond to some random YouTuber. But he responded. We have a response. We have an official response about whether parroting, shadowing, and all this is acceptable according to the methodology. So let's read this. Hi, Richard. Sorry for the late reply. I can't quite see shadowing being useful if the principles of OG, immersion, and ALG are true. So first up, before we even get further into this, I just want to, publicly thank him for actually taking the time out of his day to freaking respond to me, and then write such a decent, lengthy response. When I've seen shadowing being mentioned, it was as a way to develop pronunciation. However, when you're shadowing, you need to be listening to something at quite a high volume so that your voice is not louder than what you're listening to, or otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear the next thing that you need to repeat. I see there are basically eliminating the usefulness of starting to speak when you're using our approach. Using our method, you start to speak, and hearing yourself speak, you can hear the difference between the pronunciation model that you have acquired in your head and what's coming out of your mouth. The difference allows you to find what to tune in your articulation to match the expected output. But if you're not hearing yourself speak because you're listening to something else and paying more attention to it, then in my opinion, that gets rid of the usefulness. In general, I'm very wary of any kind of activity that has you trying to do different things at the same time. So I kind of expected that this would be the response, and I'm glad to see that, now I know this is the case. So basically, under ALG, the idea is that because you've built up this mental model of the language, when you start speaking, you just start self-correcting quite a lot. And I have been doing that. I have been self-correcting, but I'm not sure if that would apply for every single word, every single utterance that would come out of my mouth, because obviously I do have a mental model of the language in some ways. There's lots of things where I keep correcting myself and it still just doesn't sound right. But I don't know what is right. Okay, so maybe that comes with the speaking practice, which I've just started doing with Worlds Across, okay? So I've already done, what was that, an hour worth? Yeah, I did basically an hour, but it was mainly crosstalk. It was actually, what am I saying? It was 99.9% crosstalk. Just because they were trying to figure out where to start with me, and I was trying to figure out where to start with me, but we've got a plan. Anyway, if by parroting you mean doing something similar by pausing after you listen to what you're going to repeat so that you don't listen and speak at the same time, its effect is probably quite different depending on whether you have already a mental model of the pronunciation of the language or not. If you already have a mental model of the sound of the language based on hundreds of hours of input, then it seems like parroting would be unnecessary, since you already self-correct, as mentioned in the previous paragraph. If you're using parroting before you have developed the model, then I can look at how well children or even adults do it in language classes when trying to repeat what the teacher says in beginning classes, and know that for most learners, it's probably going to be a disaster for their pronunciation. I think this blog post touches on it quite a bit, or quite a relevant points are in this. Now, I actually went and read this, and it talks a lot about, how ALG thinks about things and stuff like that. It doesn't really actually answer this, but this email answers my question enough. So you guys can go check out this link. I'll put it down in the description down below if you want. But basically, yeah, no shadowing, no parroting, both ALG and also the DS implementation of it. So that's how I'm going to be operating moving forward. I just wanted to make this super quick video because I see this question come up all the time in discussions in my Discord, in the Reddit space, just in the ALG community in general. And now we have, both Pablo and also David Long saying, don't do it. It's not needed. So I'm going to work based on that model. Well, I have been. I've already been moving forward based on that model. Not my preference. I do want to get that out there. My preference is to do a lot of, I guess, how Pablo words it, parroting. Like I like the idea of doing a lot of parroting, but we're going to follow it as it is laid out, boys. So, hope that helps. Hope you guys find some usefulness out of this video. And, of course, make sure you sub to the channel. I'll see you all in the next goddamn video. And if you're not there, well, that's because I assume you're out there and you're parroting. Or you're not parroting. You shouldn't be parroting. You do parroting and you're in trouble, bro. I will find you.